there, Mountain Dreamers. Kristen Walter here today talking to you about short-term rental regulations in Summit County and Breckenridge. Stay tuned. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment below. Hey, there's a lot going on in our small resort market. We have a huge housing crunch when it comes to the locals. We have an affordability issue just like everywhere else at every other resort. So what are the local governments doing about it? And more importantly, what is the Summit Association of Realtors doing about it? I am a local realtor. I'm also a member of the Colorado Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. And I can tell you that the board at Summit Realtors is doing a great job. They're landing on their votes right around the same way that I believe philosophically about the involvement of government regulations when it comes to short-term rentals. So the first thing I want you to be aware of is that Summit County's emergency short-term rental license moratorium proposal has come out as of September 8th. The first thing that this moratorium would disallow is any new short-term rental licenses for 12 weeks, effective Tuesday, September 14th. The reason that they're doing this is because they're behind on applications. This moratorium applies to unincorporated Summit County, but the county has exempted Keystone and Copper Mountain because these areas are designed for short-term renters as tourism areas. Breckenridge, Blue River, Frisco, Dillon, and Silverthorne do not fall within the county's jurisdiction. I'll go into Breckenridge in just a minute, so this doesn't apply to them. This moratorium is intended to allow an overwhelmed staff get caught up on processing nearly 75 applications per week, almost 1,000 since January. At the same time, the county is working on a multifaceted incentive and housing program to help address the housing issues that they hope to roll out by mid-October. This includes cash incentives to owners in areas such as Dillon Valley and Wilderness that they believe should serve as locals housing to convert from short-term to long-term rentals. It also includes allowing accessory dwelling units, otherwise known as ADUs, where they aren't currently allowed, incentivizing these folks basically to put tiny houses with long-term rentals and having deed restrictions on those so that only those ADUs can hold full-time locals in those areas. Now, those are just a few of the ideas from Summit County. Our board has asked that the county consider allowing properties already under contract the ability to apply for a license during this moratorium. And we've also asked that new home developments under construction also be allowed to apply for licenses. We've requested that properties that have short-term reservations and rental contracts through the winter months be allowed to honor those contracts. Because look, if you are an owner of real estate in Summit County right now, and we're rolling into ski season starts October, and you think that you have a permit in place to do a short-term rental, you need to double, triple, quadruple check. Get someone on the phone, get it in writing, because your Airbnb might not be in compliance at this point because the county is trying to shake things up. So let's switch over to Breckenridge now, because Breckenridge is doing something different and even more, I think, taking away the rights of private property homeowners. Okay, so moving over now to the town of Breckenridge. Now, if you're not from Colorado, you know about Breckenridge. This town was built on tourism. Vail Corporation owns Breckenridge. Vail also owns Keystone, another major ski resort in our area. The other ski resorts that are owned by Powder Core, so that's Copper Mountain. And then we have Arapahoe Basin, which is kind of over by Keystone, that's also in Summit County. That's an independently owned operation, so is Loveland Ski Area. So you've got two towns, Keystone and Breck, that are based off of a Vail resort that is a multinational corporation, publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Let's keep that in perspective while we're looking at these statistics and listening to the town of Breck. Now, you might not like my video. You might not like where I stand on this. I want you to know that as a real estate owner as an investor, as a broker, as a realtor, I believe that the individual should have every right to do what they want with their property within reason. That being said, I know there is a housing crunch in Summit County and Breckenridge and all the resort towns, but I don't personally believe that the government interfering is the answer. And that's what's happening in the town of Breck. They're basically cutting off their nose to spite their face. We have millions, if not billions of dollars come into our county because of tourism, because of the ski resorts. This is what keeps people employed. So I always go back to my philosophy classes, the Basic 101 and economy classes from the University of Texas in Austin, the ethics classes. It's like, who's supposed to be providing housing for the people that are working at these resorts or working because of the resorts? Here's what I can tell you from personal experience before I get into what the town of Breck is trying to do. From personal experience in Summit County, I have seen mid-level business owners. So for example, restaurant owners, insurance agency owners, the mid-level employers in Summit County go out and buy $1 million, $2 million, $5 million home for themselves, and yet they're paying their employees the bare minimum. They're not helping their employees to find houses of their own. They're paying their employees just enough so that those employees can pay rent. And let me tell you what, rent in Summit County, if you're a person who works there full time and you just want to have a bedroom that's decent, you would be lucky to find something for $1,200 a month in a shared house. So consider that, the average employee in Summit County isn't making that much money, because for a ski lift operator or someone who works at a restaurant or someone who works in any other type of tourism industry, they're lucky to be making $10, $12 an hour. The teachers aren't even paid that much. The teachers barely get by. You can't be a teacher by yourself in Summit County. You have to be married to someone or have a partner or have a fat savings or something, or have been a teacher for a really long time in order to afford housing in our county. It is a huge problem, but I don't think that restricting the amount of short-term renters or short-term rental permits in Breckenridge is going to solve the problem, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So this is just my personal experience. The other thing that I have seen where the system is rigged against the local person is that these governmental entities are getting into contracts with builders and developers on land where the builders and the developers sold that land to the county or the government, and then that county or government is giving that builder developer the contract back, and that builder developer is double dipping on their money. They're getting tax incentives. If you look at town of Silverthorne, there's a certain tax that they've been collecting from homeowners for many years that they are incentivizing builders to come in to build workforce housing, but they're not passing that money on to the new owners. They're giving it to the builders. Okay, let's get into what is really upsetting me about Breckenridge short-term rentals. So next steps for Town of Breck. On September 14th, the council is going to review the first ordinance, placing a cap on the number of licenses allowed. The ordinance is going to go to the second reading on September 28th. If it passes at both sessions, it'll go into effect 35 days later, right at the beginning of ski season. Oh my goodness, you guys, what are you thinking? The town is going to continue to accept applications even over the 2,200 cap until the ordinance is in effect. So if you are purchasing a property in our area for Town of Breckenridge, make that application. Move forward if you need to move forward. The council is likely to discuss possible exemptions to the cap on September 14th. You should provide feedback during public comment, and you can also email your feedback to mayor@townofbreckenridge.com. They do not currently expect an exemption for construction in progress or real estate sales under contract. So if you're under contract with us right now, they're not going to make an exception, but you should try. The town is going to keep a wait list on a first-come, first-served basis after the ordinance goes into effect. However, no one on the wait list will receive a license until the number of licenses is first reduced through attrition to 2,200. At this time, the council intends for licenses not to transfer to the new owner when the property sells. The new owner will have to apply and be placed on the waiting list. So this is really going to throw a kink in a lot of our real estate sales and a lot of your plans to be your own Airbnb VRBO owner. They're giving preference to the major resort owners when they talk about having a full-time front staff and all of these things. Those are the corporations that own those buildings. So what they're doing effectively is cutting out the middleman. They're cutting out those of us who are middle class and want to have our vacation rental work for us when we're not skiing. So that's all that they go into on this document. I'll put the notes below. Stay involved, stay active. If you want to fight for property rights for the individual and not the corporation, stay tuned to my videos. I'll keep you posted, and leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the mountains. Bye for now.